World Cup Digest, episode 6. Dominic Rich Football Pharaoh. Back with the good stuff, bro. We had another epic day, right?
Oh yeah, we did a lot of action, a lot of drama.
Yep. So, where do you want to start first?
Let's begin with um, Netherlands versus Ecuador.
All right. So, we're going to start with Group A. All right. Let's do Group A. So, Netherlands won, Ecuador won. I predicted a narrow 1-0 win for the Netherlands, and it was shaping up like it was going to be that after Cody Gakpo scored early in the 6th minute. But after that, it was all Ecuador.
Yeah, it sure
Do
was.
you think that's a fair assessment?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Netherlands really struggled with Ecuador in a similar way they did with Senegal, except Ecuador just had more firepower up front to actually get on the score sheet, unlike Senegal in that first match. And I was with you. Like I thought it was going to be 1-0. I actually thought it was going to stay 1-0 after Gakpo score. I'm like, okay, Ecuador is going to like sit back and seek to break when they can, but try to keep this because they'll keep in mind that heading into that last game they'll have the advantage. But they came back into this, man. They outpaced Netherlands. They out physicality them. Had more shots to go on, more opportunities to go on to actually win this game.
Indeed, indeed. So look, let's just go right back from the beginning lineups. Louis van Gaal made some changes, and he changed his formation as well, where he didn't so much change his formation. He just made some personnel changes. Cause he was always three at the back, but Yuri and Timber coming in for Matthias de Ligt, Tian Koop Miners for Steven Berghaus, Davy Clausen coming in for Vincent Janssen. And how do you feel about those changes that he made?
It was an interesting mix-up, I think, because he knows that the first match was the Netherlands were not playing up to their optimal level, and they were quite kind of fortunate to go away with 3 points on Senegal. I still think, though, this is a team that has not come into their own in this tournament, and they're lucky. They're lucky they're in a group like this, man, because if they're in a group like Argentina and Saudi Arabia's group, or even the U.S.'s group, they might struggle to get out of it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Good assessment. For Ecuador, they only made one change. Perozo came in at the back. I can't remember exactly for who, but I knew he came in. Sebas Mendes, he would actually miss the next game. 2 yellow cards. Moses Caicedo was actually very lucky not to pick up a yellow card himself. So Gustavo Alfaro doing the business once again. 4 points Ecuador, 4 points the Netherlands. Both teams. Let me see who they actually put on top. Netherlands on top, maybe because of the yellow cards for Ecuador. Yeah, Ecuador got way more yellow cards, but everything's equal. But look, man, it was a good fight back, good response by Ecuador after going behind, and they could have easily won the game because there was a goal scored that was actually called offside because Peroza was in front of Noppert.
Interfering is
And yeah, but Ecuador just kept threatening. I can't recall the Dutch actually testing Galindez after that. Look, it's right there in front of our eyes. 2 shots, 1 on target. It's
15.
This is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
These dudes, after Gakpo scored, and big up to Gakpo, he's been their breakout star so far. God, that was a hell of a shot. But after these dudes score, they were actually nowhere to be found in the final third. They were just defending for their lives. And Ecuador with 15 shots, 4 on target, could have easily went on. And Gonzalo Plata hit the crossbar as well.
Yes, he did.
Noppert had to make quite a few big saves. So it's I think this right now is advantage Ecuador going into the Senegal game, but it's still well poised because Senegal are now sizzling as well. But for the Netherlands, they'll go through. They play Qatar. But then again, right? What if Qatar hit their heights in the final game? You never know.
To send the home fans, Just keep them at home.
Consolation.
Well, we'll get to Qatar in a moment because I think their consolation came today with that their goal.
But just before we move, because we're not gonna spend super long here. It was a mistake by Noppert and a mistake by Netherlands that led to this goal, because it was a poor play out from the back, putting his outfield player under pressure, and Ecuador just keeps pressing. Moises Caicedo is a pressing machine. Mendes pressing machine, right? And the press was applied, and Netherlands turned the ball over. And the way Ecuador is so slick, because a lot of people don't realize, right? If you don't watch South American football, you don't realize that the tempo to which these guys play this game, it's just fast-paced football,
and it's intense.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Exactly. These guys are used to this, man. And Enner Valencia, with the tapping after Estupinian, I'm telling you, Estupinian and Moises Caicedo are playing on some different levels right now. Gonzalo Plata as well. Look, there's a few players on the Ecuadorian team like Michael Estrada is not really pulling his weight. I think they could actually make a change with him and make the team a bit stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah, remember I think he was subbed off for Sarmiento, and
Sarmiento looked good when he came on. Maybe that should be the change in the next game.
Yeah, for sure.
And
they're also going to have to hope that I know Enner Valencia, he was taken off on a stretcher.
Again. Remember, he went off injured in the first game. I think he'll strap it. He'll recover. That probably was some theatrics. Him just kind of wanted to kill the game off a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why not? Why not stretch me off? It's okay.
I would do the same thing, honestly.
Exactly. But look, I was questioning whether Ecuador was going to go for the win, or how does the Netherlands respond? If who's going to be satisfied with the 1-1, but I think Ecuador wanted this win. They were saying, hey man, we're going to go for this. We're going to go for this.
Yeah, and they almost got it too. So
yep.
It's like you said, it's very delicate now, very delicate situation. They have the advantage. Just got to avoid defeat. I'm very interested to see how they'll approach that last game, because there's an outside chance they could top the group if the Netherlands actually do slip up. Ecuador getting 7 points in this group would be a statement, I think.
But also, even if both teams win, if Ecuador win by a better margin,
sure,
Ecuador actually go on to top the group. What are your thoughts on Van Dijk's performance so far at the World Cup? Don't you think he's a little suspect at times? He has not been playing at his, normal high levels that we came to know. You know what I'm saying?
I think his reaction, his recovery has been really slow. It's been very long-winded, and I mean, if they don't kick into a higher gear, I mean, he'll be punished, because when they come against, if they go on a deep run in this tournament, it's lackluster. I think you said it best. It is lackluster.
Indeed, man.
But we'll see.
So just to finish things off, land the plane with a nice insight here. Ecuador have now gone unbeaten in 4 consecutive World Cup games for the first time in their history. 2 wins and 2 draws. While it's just the second time they have avoided defeat in their opening 2 games of a World Cup after 2006, the only time they've reached the knockout stages. So look, Netherlands failed to win a World Cup match in which they opened the scoring for the first time since a 2-2 draw with Mexico back in 1998, having gone 2 goals ahead on that occasion. I have to say, big up to Enner Valencia. He now has the last 6 goals for Ecuador at the World Cup, and he's the leading goal scorer at the World Cup so far with 3 goals. So if Ecuador gets into the next round and make a deep run to the quarterfinal, which is quite possible, Ecuador could actually, Enner Valencia could actually be in the Golden Boot race. And we move on to the next game, because, we don't want to drag it out too long, but let's talk Qatar, Senegal. And Qatar are dismissed. Early dismissal. 2 matches done. What are your thoughts?
I thought they looked more composed today. Certainly, it's hard to do as badly as they did in that opener. And you look at the stat sheets. I mean, like in terms of like possession, shots, they created more opportunities. They roughly equal amount of opportunities that Senegal did. Even down to the pass accuracy is somewhat equivalent with them. But you talk about consolation, Dom. I think their consolation was getting a goal today, their first ever goal in a World Cup. And it was a good one, too. It was a great header by Montari.
Yeah.
When it pulled it back for them, it made things a little bit dicier, made things interesting because there was still, I think, about 10 or 12, 15 minutes left in the game. And I think they had another good look on goal to possibly equalize it, didn't they? They had another.
They looked a lot better. I have to say their approach was a lot better, but just to run through the timeline really quick. Senegal 3, Qatar 1. Very disappointing from the host, I have to say. But well done by Senegal on becoming the first African team to pick up a win at the World Cup 2022. And after losing that opening game where they themselves looked very, very impressive, they actually improved on that performance. And even without Sadio Mane, they were able to get 3 goals and they were able to inspire themselves to a very impressive win, even though they were challenged. So, look, Qatar, they made a few changes. They took out Al-Sheeb, big call, brought on Basham. Good call, in my opinion. And a few other changes were made. Madibo came in, and I think another player by the name of Mohamed came in. Let's just take a look at the lineup really quick. Yeah, Mohamed came in at right back. So Pedro Miguel played as one of the center backs there. But the first things first that happened in the game, the big moment, Akram Afif, the penalty shout. What do you think?
I mean, I'm 50-50 on it. This is one of the few ones where I don't exactly know.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
I think it should have been given because what Ronaldo was given a penalty for is nothing dissimilar.
That's yeah.
When Lewandowski was being given a penalty, it wasn't something dissimilar. And I was like, okay, if you're gonna give soft calls, might as well you give that where it was an obvious push by Sa. And I think they were unlucky not to get that penalty, And I think Akram Afif dwelt on it for like way too long. Like I don't know why he was like dwelling on that at all. Really don't know why he was dwelling on it. Like he kept going in the referee's ear to be like, yo, what that was a penalty, and I think it affected his game where he kept coming back too deep. He's always been coming back deep, and he's not up front where he should be to punish Senegal. And the goal, man, how could Bulem Cookie gift? Just put it on a platter. Here you go. Take it. Senegal score. Basically put on a platter. How are you going to miss a clearance like that? Big World Cup match, your hosts. They shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they did. And but at the end of the day, like, oh, by the way, shout out, I predicted the same exact score that I said Senegal 3, Qatar 1 last night.
Well, I predicted a 0-0 draw. I didn't get my draw, but it's okay.
It's okay. It would have been nice to have seen the team, the players, because whatever you want to say about Qatar as a country, like you don't want to see a host nation like the players themselves get like humiliated. And but what was your question?
Yeah, that was indeed a humiliation. But no, did I ask you a question? No, I don't. I was actually talking about the goal, like the way the goal was conceded. You know what I'm saying? Bulem Cookie. The way the goal was conceded, I was talking about that.
Yeah. And then you asked me what I thought about Qatar in general in this game.
Did I?
Man, I think maybe we're both tired.
No, I'm okay, bro. I'm okay. But look, man, Qatar needed that goal. They were chasing the game, and in chasing the game from our Jeju, very good header, man. And you got to give Aliou Cisse a lot of credit there for actually putting in both Dia and Jeju and not taking out Dia and replacing him with Jeju and added another player. Because what he did there was injected more offensive power into the team,
Yep.
And it worked out. And also something he did was playing Jacobs and Diallo in the team, giving them more versatility and leaving Cisse on the bench. And Edward Mendy was a lot more decisive, a lot more better today as well. He made some big saves. But with Senegal going 2-1 up, I knew it was a wrap. But Qatar, they started to threaten. They got a goal back through Muntari. There's a few saves made, of course. Very, very good attacks by Qatar. They got their goal. Congratulations to the diagonal switch, ball into the box, header into the back of the net. Good goal. And they were going for the second goal, which I think they could have got, but they left themselves too open. And that was a very, very good finish by Bamba Dieng there when Senegal got him behind on the right, the square, and it was just a diversion. Bam! Into the back of the net, man. Brilliant stuff by Senegal, man. This is the Senegal that won the AFCON. This is a Senegal. You know what? I don't need to rub it in, bro. You're Egyptian and everything. I don't need to rub it in, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was a Senegal that showed their depth, even when they're inconvenienced by the absence of perhaps their best player. And I think regarding Qatar pushing forward and trying to get that second goal, they themselves exposed. I think from their point of view, they might as well have gone for it because they were teetering on the edge of elimination. So they had it basically all to play for. So I don't blame them for approaching it that way at all.
Exactly. So 3-1 to Senegal. Qatar knocked out. Do you think they could actually be a banana skin for Netherlands in their next game?
Even though the Netherlands have been doing like the bare bones minimum to get by, I don't see it, and I don't see them scoring either. I think that's a game that the Netherlands, even if there are rotations, they should, which I don't think there will be because, like you said, they're in a chase with Ecuador for top. Netherlands should win this. I'll be shocked if they don't win by at least a couple of goals.
Okay. What about the setup now? The beautiful setup between Ecuador and Senegal. That it is set up very, very nicely, man. Like a final.
Yes.
Winner takes all, bro.
Absolutely. It's very clear cut for Senegal. And in a weird way, even though they enter that match with a disadvantage because they need to win, they know what the goal is. They have to win. With I almost said Qatar. With Ecuador, like I said, we don't know how they're going to approach because if you play for that draw, man, that's dangerous. And we know
I don't think Ecuador plays for a draw. That's not in their DNA. I don't think they play for a draw at all.
Yeah. But if you're asking for an early prediction for it,
not really. No. We have time. We have time. We leave that one to the imagination for now. But look, wrapping up Group A, it was a good match day indeed, and we gotta move. Let's move. Let us talk.
Wales,
bro. I think you had something going when you said Iran, could get out the group. I think you did predict them to get out the group, right?
I did, and now I hope I am wrong.
Look, give it up to Iran. Wales did not show up.
No.
You see what I mean? Wales is like someone that you call in for an interview for a good job, and then they don't show up. So you say, okay, it's okay. Opportunity was yours. He didn't show up. Give it up to Iran, man. They won it in stoppage time. They left it for late, but they got the job done because they just constantly kept grinding and they were persistent. And I think it paid off in the end, and they deserve it. 100% deserve it. Wales, they let me down big time, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like they could just never get into those higher gears. Even though they tried, they just couldn't get in because Iran just kept nullifying everything, closing down. They couldn't get the ball up to Kiefer Moore. Ramsey couldn't do his thing. Bale couldn't do his thing. And even when they brought on guys like Dan James and Brennan Johnson later, those guys would negate it out the game as well. So and of course the red card, you know what I'm saying? The red card actually helped big time. But look, just to go back on the timeline really quick, Azmoun Golizadeh and Husseini came in. Kiefer Moore started for Wales, notable change. Big save by the goalkeeper from Kiefer Moore early in the game. And Iran did score a goal that was actually disallowed for offside as well. And I did make a note that it was a better performance by Iran after getting smashed 6-2. So a team getting destroyed like that, a rout to bounce back, to hold their head up and believe they could still achieve and still win games. You got to give it to Iran, man. You know, because I was saying, okay, even the Wales are not playing well, they appear to be a second half team anyways. But look, they just never showed up on the day, man. 0-0 at halftime. You know, it was 0-0 at 90 minutes as well. But it was Iran. Remember in the 51st minute and the 52nd minute when Iran hit the post twice,
Yeah.
Azmoun and Golizadeh. I was like, oh boy, Iran are winning this game. They're winning this game. They're
Yeah.
sweating Azmoun's fitness as well, but I think he should be okay. You know, Hennessy did make a big save, 73rd minute. You know, and I did make a note that Wales just couldn't find their rhythm. They just couldn't find any fluency,
No.
you know, and it's because of a lot of turnovers in midfield. They just kept losing that midfield battle as well.
Yeah,
You
and I
know,
think really efficient job of shutting down those lanes too, because like they couldn't they really couldn't get in behind. I think Wales. No, like you said, like Dan James, Bale, like they just all they didn't show up on the day. They were cut out.
so the red card, bro. What are your thoughts?
Oh, for Hennessy,
First red card of the World Cup, by the way.
first straight red card. That's right.
Yep.
I mean, I agreed with it. I don't think it was harsh, honestly.
Yeah, he was a bit reckless. He was a bit reckless, and
You
you
think it
gotta.
should?
Hmm?
You think it should be a yellow?
No, it was a red. He was reckless, definitely reckless. The way he kicked out at the end, it wasn't on purpose, like he was trying to hurt the player, but he just put a bit too much into it. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the referee gave the yellow first, and then on review, it was turned into a red because he deserved the red. But even with that, it didn't mean that Wales should have lost the game because all you needed to do was defend with the 9 outfield players, and you know you didn't play well. Take your point. You see what I mean? And hope to beat England, where we now see that England are definitely beatable. We just learned that.
For sure, yeah.
You see what I mean? So I think it's a lapse in Wales on Wales's behalf. And if you go back to the goal, Joe Allen actually put that ball on a platter for Rusby. It was like, you know, here you go, put it into the back of the net, take it. And then, you know, Danny Ward, he, you know, even though he picked up his form for Leicester City, I know he picked up his form, but he's not a top keeper. You know, I think Hennessy's a little better than Danny Ward. That's why he has 100 caps and Danny Ward doesn't. You know, and that ball went past the defender, went past Ward in the back of the net. Iran, as soon as they scored, you know they had won the game. They knew they had won the game. You know, Carlos Queiroz with his celebration and everything. You know, they knew they had won the game. And
And
look,
Rezaians was just the cherry on the cake, honestly.
yeah, and with Wales having to get that late goal in injury time, you know, Iran on the counter. Iran's counter attacks were deadly,
Yes.
deadly, and they kept their poise. And the player Ramin, number 23, really cute finish to sink the hearts of all the Welsh players and their fans into the bottomless abyss. 2-0 Iran. This is a massive victory. Isn't this only their third victory at the World Cup?
I believe so, because they beat Morocco 4 years ago, and then they beat
USA.
USA in 1998, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
And with that being said, it sets up a massive clash next week. Iran versus the USA, where, you know, I think Wales are going to lose to England.
Mm,
Or if that game ends in a draw, England, goes on to 5 points and go through. They will go through.
right.
And the way it stands right now, even if England lose, if England lose, England goes through if these teams draw, if Iran and the USA draw, because the USA only has 2 points.
Right.
So, with a draw, Iran would actually go through
Hmm.
and the USA misses out. So Iran are dangerous knowing that only a draw would get them through because they're
Correct.
set up very defensive. You know what I mean? Bro, I'm favoring Iran right now. But look, with that being said, we segue nicely into the final match. I am yet to actually react to this. And this is my reaction. I am very, very proud of what the USA did today.
For sure.
And
100 fucking
yep.
percent.
And I have to say, England, I don't know what it is, man. How could you play so convincing in the first match and then you come in the second game and you could look so average? And no, I'm not taking anything away from the USA. It's just England. You look so average. These guys are kids, You see what I mean? And
Yeah.
if you're going to put up your hand and say you're one of the World Cup favorites and you come to win this World Cup, you ain't going to win no World Cup like that. Because if this was a better team, like let's say a Spain or France, England would be packing their bags. They would have been on the plane to England already. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But kudos to the USA, man. They could have won this game as well.
I can't remember there. I never thought we'd be talking about this and me saying that we could and maybe even should have won this match. We should have beaten England in
Yeah.
a World Cup. I
Oh,
mean, God.
just as you said that, I know I predicted a big win for England, and most people did,
Me
right?
too.
Most people did. But I have to say this. England have never beaten the USA at the World Cup. 1950, they lost. 2010, a 1-1 draw. And 2022, a 0-0 draw. And I think the last time the USA actually failed to, they actually kept a clean sheet. There was a stat, the last time they kept a clean sheet or something like that was in that game back in 1950, if I'm not mistaken. I'll get the correct stat for you. But that was amazing. So continue your point if sorry to interrupt.
Dominic, we dominated them for large stretches of this match.
Big time.
I mean, I felt like we were winning most of those 50-50 challenges, and I mentioned that in my reaction that I uploaded. And just the runs that we were making. Did you notice we were forcing them to make so many awkward clearances, and when we won, I think we won 3-4 quarters consecutively because their back line was disjointed. Did you see the nutmeg that Weston McKennie had in the
No,
build?
I didn't see it. I didn't see the nutmeg. I can't really go into deep details because I was like, because you still have to go along with the everyday life. I had to run into Rite Aid to pick up, and I'm listening to the game as I'm doing everything.
Bro,
It's so difficult, man.
okay, so the highlight when Pulisic hits the crossbar.
Yeah, I did see all of that.
Go,
I saw everything. Weston McKennie should have scored. When
go.
you're playing against England and you get opportunities like that, you have to bury them. You have to punish England. Weston McKennie should have scored, right? Christian Pulisic could have scored as well. And there was a few other very good opportunities for the USA. If we go and we check the stats, outshot England, but only one on target, right?
Right.
Only one on target. So it's not like if there was many other chances where Pickford had to come up with big saves or whatnot. But the USA just look way more dangerous, especially down the right flank, where England was struggling with Luke Shaw. And England, apart from that Harry Kane effort that was blocked and that Mason Mount shot that was actually saved by Matt Turner, there wasn't many other opportunities or any dangerous moments.
No,
I
they didn't.
think USA handled themselves very well.
We did. And like the first 15, 20 minutes, like they were putting massive pressure on us and they were forcing us to set up in that deep block. But we handled that like warriors, honestly. And whenever we went on the break, like we looked really, really dangerous. We looked so dangerous. And the reason that I was saying when you get the chance, go back and watch the 30 seconds prior to Pulisic's crossbar. Watch the build-up play to that and what McKennie was doing. He was on fire today. And like you said, he has to get that effort on target. He skies it. That's something that could really come back to bite us, which is everything has been almost perfect in these last two games. It's just the finishing, which is the most frustrating part. But again, I'm still a little bit in a state of shock because I didn't think we would be this assertive in how we set up against England and how once we weathered that earlier storm, how we just came on and we just took the game by the scruff of the neck and unlucky to not score. And I would say I think for the most part the tactical approach to this game was correct. The only really main criticism I have is in the second half when we had our substitutions. I know that Dest looked like he needed to come off. I personally would have liked to have seen Joe Scally get in there instead of Shaq Moore.
Okay.
But
maybe there's a pecking order too, you know what I'm saying?
There could be a pecking order. Do you think that Reyna came on a little bit too late?
Well, at least he came on. Let me just say that.
Sure.
Because his dad was there, you know, maybe his dad was at the first game and his dad said to Greg Berhalter, hey man, don't make me come to another game and you don't play my boy, you know what I'm saying? But I have to say this, right? If this game was being judged on points like a boxing match, the USA would have won.
Sure.
You see what I mean? Because England looked a shadow of that England team that destroyed Iran. But I have to say, they are not in a very, very bad position because that point is actually a good point. They didn't lose, so they could go back to the drawing board and say, hey, at least they know they cannot slip up against Wales.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I was thinking the same thing. Like this point we got from here, even though we should have won, I think it puts lovely pressure on Wales now, on England rather, because England are going to go out there and the entire probability of them going out and making rotations against Wales, had they be doing it with 6 points, that's now completely gone. They're going to go out there and they're going to try to win, and that, I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but like there's still a chance Wales, you know, two home nations playing each other.
Yeah.
So you don't want to count them out entirely, but we put ourselves in a decent position here. Would have preferred 3 points. I mean, England, of course, are in a good spot to still come in first, but I mean, you can just imagine how much the media and the tabloids there are ripping these guys tomorrow morning. Like right tonight and tomorrow morning.
Yes, because this is the USA. I think this is a moral victory for the USA, the fans, everybody, the former players, everybody who was hyping this game up. It's a moral victory, you know, for the players as well. But the thing is, you pick up these moral victories, but the USA only has 2 points, right?
Yeah.
Only 2 points. A draw against Iran means the USA are eliminated.
Yeah.
Without losing a game, right?
Well, moral victories are fine, but we need wins now.
Exactly. You need wins on the scoreboard. That's what you need. That's what counts the most. And England, even if England lose, let's say if England lose to Wales, England could still go through. Because with Iran, if Iran picks up a draw against the USA, if we take a look at the table right about now, Iran with a draw goes up to 4 points. They have a -2 goal difference, right? But if Wales, if they do beat England, their goal difference would actually be a lot better than Iran.
Right.
So Iran need Wales not to win.
Correct.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's set up very, very nicely. I think Group A is going to be very, very difficult to predict the last match day. Anything could happen, as we know. But right now, because Iran and USA are so politically charged, and Iran is so good defensively, it could be a situation USA go and destroy Iran. But I just have a good feeling about this Iranian team now with the whole context and everything that's, the narrative, everything that's going on right now. I just have a feeling they go through for the very, very first time. They get into the round of 16. I'm having a good feeling about them. Them and England might actually go through.
It's interesting because I think that on paper we have the means to beat Iran, and we should beat Iran. But the context, like you said, of just what's going on in the country right now, and that seeps through into football. And one of the reasons I had Iran advancing in my initial predictions was because I felt, you know what, Kirosh is back for third time, possibly third time the charge. He knows these players already. They did well in Asian qualifying, so they're already a good team. Now this added incent, they could very well have the spirits on their side. And what's interesting about the U.S., we have to be careful here because we have to win. And like you said, like you alluded to, Iran, they were really lethal today on the counter. They can punish us. So, I mean, I actually crunched the numbers of different scenarios. The U.S. can actually finish anywhere between first and last in this group. I think we're the only team that can finish first, second, third, or fourth in this group. It's insane.
Yeah. So even if the U.S. go and put out some good performances at the World Cup and not lose a game, look good, they still won't get into the knockouts without winning. It's
win or go home,
win.
boys.
Yep, win or go home.
We're proud of it today, but come on.
Exactly. And with that being said, bro, we could stay here forever. We could talk permutations and all of that, but we're gonna do that next time around. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because we know we both strapped for time. We gone 37 minutes. World Cup Digest with your boy Football Pharaoh and Dominic Rich. Take it away.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. It's all setting up really well for some really juicy encounters in the final match. They already in just the first two groups. Tomorrow we got 4. Tomorrow's a great schedule with Argentina and Mexico. I think your mic is paused, muted.
Just to land the plane, to just touch on tomorrow really, really quick. Everybody's busy, man. Everybody's busy. I'm on daddy duties. I have my 2 daughters upstairs as well. You know what I mean? But it's World Cup time, man. World Cup time. So look, tomorrow, Tunisia, Australia. Who do you have? Quick.
I have a high scoring draw. I think it's 2-2.
Tunisia goes through.
You think so? They win tomorrow and they go through? But mathematically, would they go through? I don't think they would.
Well, a win with Tunisia would put them in a great position, I should say.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Poland, Saudi Arabia. Who you got?
1-1 draw.
I am going to go with a 1-1 draw as well. France, Denmark. Who you got?
France to beat Denmark after losing twice to Denmark and also losing in 2002 to Denmark as well. So France to bounce back. I like what I saw. On match day 1.
Okay, well, my philosophy is always as long as your pre-tournament predictions are still alive, you stick with them until they're no longer possible. So I'm gonna be boring here, man. I'm going with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I've already thrown my pre-tournament predictions out the window, bro. I've already done that. When Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, I was like, pre-tournament predictions, bye.
You know what? All right.
No. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Let's move. Argentina, Mexico, big call. Does Messi go home?
Oh man. You know what? Mexico saw what we did today with England. I think they're gonna get. I have to stick with my CONCACAF. Mexico wins this match 1-0.
Argentina, bro.
You go, okay.
Yeah. I don't know how Mexico is gonna score. Who's gonna score? Who?
That's the question, though.
Tata Martino, Argentinian as well. Big narrative. Argentina wins this and keep their World Cup hopes alive, in my opinion. If tomorrow comes and they get eliminated, shockwaves.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So you're basically predicted Argentina to get knocked out tomorrow.
I forgot about that. They would be eliminated. So let me rethink. I didn't do the math.
You can't rethink, bro. You already made.
I didn't do the math. It's not fair.
Look, let's talk about it tomorrow. Let's see if it actually happens, because you might be onto something, though. You might definitely be onto something.
Maybe.
Yep. So look, another fun and informative episode of World Cup Digest with your boy Dominic Rich and Football Pharaoh. If you're watching this and you got all the way to the end, let us know if you think we should continue this after the World Cup to give you guys some very, very top quality, top shelf content, because that's what we're thinking about doing, keeping the thing going all the way to 2026. And you know what? It will help Football Pharaoh and I stay in touch, which would make that 8 years, from the 2018 World Cup, 2022 and 2026. That'll be epic.
Yeah, man, it really would. Hopefully we get there.
What I'm saying? Yep. So thanks again for joining me, guys. Make sure you go check out Football Pharaoh's channel, link in the description, mine as well. And until tomorrow, we got things to do. We're gonna go do our business. We're gonna handle our business now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Until tomorrow, God's willing. Peace out.
Bye. See you, buddy.
All right.